And now, WTOE Radio Live, brought to you by ThroughOurEyes.org.
Welcome to Looking Good Without Looking, an interactive live show about fashion and personal style with your host, Linda Zani Thomas. Linda is the author of the Looking Good Without Looking Guides to Personal Style for Men and Women, published in the Braille Monitor. Get the latest fashion news, makeup trends, and shopping scoops, plus expert advice on bringing out the best in you.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to Sunday. Get with us. You know what we say, party every day, party every day, and I'm feeling.
Here's Linda.
Tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Looking Good Without Looking show. It is February 2013. It's cold here in New Jersey, but we have a lot of hot news for you tonight. For those who are joining us for the first time tonight, and we understand we have some very special fans out in Arkansas watching tonight's show, we want to tell you a little bit about it. The Looking Good Without Looking show is for men, women, and teens who want to look their best and get the best out of life. We have a reputation for breaking stories on this show. We also have a reputation for honesty in terms of product evaluations that we test out ourselves and the best deals, tips, and trends anywhere around. This show is broadcast as a webcast and podcast from North Jersey from 3 locations. I'm at my studio. My co-host Johanna Bakan, Makeup Diva, is at her studio, and Lenny and Lori are back in a bunker somewhere full of equipment, putting this all together for us. So we want to welcome you all in this evening. We are live. You can call in if you'd like to speak to one of our guests at 888-572-0141. And the number will go up at the bottom of the screen throughout the show tonight. If you do call in, please turn the volume down on if you're watching it, because it's not an exact match and the audio will get a little weird. So definitely turn the volume down, but if you'd like to speak to us, we would like to speak to you. Johanna is waiting in the wings, putting the finishing touches on herself. So we're going to be calling her in a few minutes. But we always start the show with tips, trends, and deals. And as I told you, we always break a couple of great stories, and we have 2 good ones for you tonight. First of all, we have a story about the inspirational style of the Overcomers Choir in Arkansas. And then we have a very special guest with us live. The inventor of Jox Core Support shorts, Jim Arsenault, will be with us about 20 minutes past the hour to talk about his invention. So it's all about looking your best, feeling your best, being your best, whether you're performing on stage or you're on the golf course or at a sports activity. And that's why we're presenting the Overcomers Choir and Jimmy Arsenault, inventor of Jox Core Support shorts, later. So definitely stay tuned. We'll have a lot of tips at the end about beauty products. We may have a couple special callers call in, so stay tuned. But we're going to start the show like we normally do. You that this show, again, is for everybody. I have full vision. My co-host Johanna Bakan does not. She is visually impaired. But whether you have full vision, low vision, or no vision, we can all be personal style icons. So let's see what's hot right now in February. First of all, March is coming up. That means it's a non-gift giving month. That's what it's called in the retail world. That means that people are not buying fine jewelry. So the stores like Macy's and other department stores always have fine jewelry discounted in the month of March. So look for that special piece for a birthday, graduation, prom, whatever you're looking for. If you're looking for fine jewelry, go to a department store in March and buy it. You will get a deep, deep discount on it. This is the only time during the year when fine jewelry is discounted like that at the department stores. Number 2 thing to look out for, best deal around, bathing suits at Marshall's and TJ Maxx. These are very expensive bathing suits from last season, ladies, that have not hit the store before. So they're not leftovers. They're leftovers from bigger department stores where they're hundreds of dollars. And you can pick them up at Marshall's or TJ Maxx right now for $16.99 or so. So I know it's hard. You're pasty white. You haven't lost enough weight. But forget all that. Get down to Marshall's and TJ Maxx and get yourself a bathing suit and get a really great deal on it. What else is in the stores right now? Prom dresses are starting to come in, mother of the bride and mother of the groom dresses. Now, we always give you the best deals, but there are some times when you should not wait for a sale to buy something. And for your prom, or if you're at a very special occasion, now is not the time to try to get something on sale. Get what you like. Go to the stores right now. And stay tuned when Johanna comes on, because she has a scoop and the deal for you like you wouldn't believe. And Johanna put it together for our fans and our viewers. So if you're going to be shopping for a dress, wait till you hear what she says. Another trend right now that is extremely annoying is printed skinny jeans. I can't believe the skinny jeans are still in. The silhouette is just, it's been around for about 3 or 4 years now. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready. I hope it's over. I hope the skinny jeans thing is over and we can look for a new silhouette next year. But everybody is just taking one last shot at it. Of course, brightly colored skinny jeans were in last year. Now it's leopard, flowered, gingham, everything. Be careful, ladies, if you carry a little bit of curves in the bottom. You want a small print, not too much contrast between the print. If you're, a tall, thin girl, you can do whatever skinny jeans you want to wear. But it's kind of a difficult look, so be careful. If you need any help on anything, you can contact me and Johanna, and we will guide you like we do. We'll even help you get that prom dress or accessorize whatever you need. You can count on us. All right, couple of things that I've noticed. First of all, we talked about the Pantone colors that came out. Emerald green is color of the year. I'm sure everybody knows that. But Isaac Mizrahi has said that he thinks it's going to start out as emerald green and it's going to end up with yellow being a very popular color this year. And there are a lot of yellow things in the store right now. I'm going to hold up this ad, and this ad is for Louis Vuitton, and you can perfectly see how Louis has paired the emerald green and like a lemon yellow. So look for a lot of yellow. It feels fresh. It feels right to me too. So I agree with Isaac Mizrahi. Or does he agree with me? I'm not really sure. Next thing that's up, you will not believe what I'm going to show you, is clear accessories. So clear handbags, lucite pieces, shoes with lucite. I'm holding up an ad here with a bunch of different clear elements. Lenny, can you see this ad? Okay, good. All right, I'm going to point, see my finger here? I am pointing to a clear clutch bag. It's like a clear lucite clutch bag. This bag is $3,695, and it is by Valentino. Wait till you see what I'm going to hold up next, everyone. A very similar bag that I've had for about 10 years. This is a bag from the 50s that I got on eBay about 10 years ago for $30. It's almost a dead ringer. So if you're into these trends, check out eBay and check out vintage before you spend $3,660 more than you need to on this bag. So that's the kind of information you can expect here at the Looking Good Without Looking show. Okay, what else do I have? Lenny, I'm going to have Johanna come on in a sec, so if you want to get that picture of us with the other people from Lancome up, that would be great. I'm going to talk about a couple things. I want to say again about Pantone colors. JCPenney just launched a line of Pantone colored sheets. So if you want to see what those colors look like, go to your nearest JCPenney. And I mentioned that this show is for men, women, and teens, and also kids. So we have a lot of men's things coming up later. But I wanted to show you this great gift. I loved it so much. I bought one for myself, one for my niece. It's called the Fashion Designer's Handbook. This is a wonderful kit for kids to teach them how to sew. There's a book with instructions. There's material. There's a little tiny dress form that's like a Barbie doll dress form, and you can create with the little ones in your life. It could be for little boys too. I'm not gonna say it isn't. That you can have a little designer in your life, and you can create some Barbie things and some things for yourself with this kit. So this is a little toy that I am really crazy about. It was like $21.95. I got it through Amazon. So take a look at that, Fashion Designer's Handbook. But we have a big, big deal for you right now. Oh, okay, we're going to have a little suspense. We are going to go to a short break. When we come back from the break, Makeup Diva Johanna Bakan will be on, and we are going to start talking about the Overcomers Choir. And I want everybody to stay tuned. If you love sports or know someone who does, if you know someone that has a little bit of low back pain, if you know somebody who would like to perform better, like to support their core, stay tuned for our special guest, Jimmy Arsenault, later in the show with Jox Core Support Shorts. We'll be back in a minute with Johanna Bakan.
We'll be right back with more of Looking Good Without Looking right after these messages.
Let's do it, do it, do it, do it. Here we come, here we go. We gotta rock, 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 rock. Easy come, easy go. Now we on top, feel the shot, body rock, rockin', don't stop. Round and round, up and down, around the clock.
What is a hero? Are heroes born, or are they made? In after-school programs, your kids will uncover hidden strengths, discover they have the power to change their future, and find the hero inside themselves. Let us know you on after-school programs in your area. Call 1-800-USA-LEARN. After-school programs, helping kids find the hero within.
Melting polar ice was a dirty look. Shrinking glaciers, a nudge. Dying forests, they were a tap on the shoulder. We got a finger in our chest from the rising sea level, and a sharp poke in the ribs from recent wildfires in Alaska. Then dying coral reefs and eroding coastlines pushed us hard. The drowned polar bears, that was a shove. Melting permafrost, that was a slap. Rising ocean temperatures and extreme weather, an uppercut. Then record-breaking heat waves hit us right where it hurts. Has it occurred to anyone that maybe the Earth is trying to get our attention?
We can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution before it's too late. To find out how, go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Remember the time you almost volunteered to work in a soup kitchen? Or when you almost visited the Veterans Hospital? Or when you almost brought dinner to your neighbor with AIDS? Remember all the times you almost helped, almost gave? Well, it's only human, this almost giving. But the truth is, it's the same as not giving at all. Don't almost give, give. Visit our website at don'talmostgive.org. A message from the Ad Council.
Back to Looking Good Without Looking. Here's Linda.
Audio, Lenny? Great. Oh, you know, this show is live, everybody, and little things happen sometimes in the world of satellites. So thank goodness I'm back. I want to introduce Johanna Bakan, the makeup diva. Are you there, Johanna?
Yes, I'm here. How are you, Linda?
Oh, you look beautiful, Johanna.
Thank you.
Are you excited about tonight's show?
Yes, very excited. A lot of great guests tonight.
Yes, wonderful. Now, Johanna, I want you to talk about, very, very important, about the deal that you put together.
Well, I put together Charity Day at Lord & Taylor. We're one of the charities that people can make a donation to. And Charity Day is April 4th, 2013. And for $5, you purchase a ticket, and on that ticket has two 25% off coupons with very little limitations that can be used each on an item. Also, there is a 15% coupon that could be also used on different items, especially cosmetics. And if you have a Lord & Taylor credit card, you'll get an additional 10% off if you make your purchases on the Lord & Taylor credit card. And this is to raise money for throughoureyes.org to do our Looking Good Without Looking show. So anyone, if you want to purchase tickets, you could call me at 201-934-6937, and we can get the tickets to you. The $5 is tax deductible. You could also get tickets the day of, April 4th, and say you want your $5 to go to lookinggoodwithoutlooking.com. So it's really a very win-win situation, I should say.
Now, is it only for just the one store, Fashion Center, Lord & Taylor?
Yes, it's only for the Fashion Center in Paramus, New Jersey, Lord & Taylor. So unfortunately, I know some of you that are, far away from New Jersey, unless you're in the area on April 4th, or if you want to have someone to pick up something for you, that's another option.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another option. We could pick up things for people. So what about, you mentioned the credit card. So if they have a Lord & Taylor credit card, they get more of a discount?
If they have a Lord & Taylor credit card and they use it to make purchases with their coupons, they get an additional 10% off.
That's really good.
And I think it's a great time, for people to go and purchase their makeup, their perfume, to get all their basics, and maybe even try something new. And I always recommend to go to a department store to get your foundation color matched to your skin.
Johanna, what about getting their prom dress or mother of the bride dress there?
Excellent idea. And with a 25% off, you can't go wrong.
Plus, if they even applied for the Lord & Taylor card there, they would get another 10% off.
Yes, exactly.
It's something to think about. We are dedicated to keeping our show on the air. There's a lot of other great shows on throughoureyes.org. There was a grant that was keeping throughoureyes.org going. That grant is no longer in existence, and we're doing our bit to keep everybody together. And we want to really always thank Lenny and Lori, who really put this thing together. I can't even imagine what goes on over there. I know what we do to them, right, Johanna?
Yes, absolutely.
Johanna, you made me laugh because you said to me for me to look up World of Alpha, right? It's a men's custom clothing.
Yes.
And so I looked up Alpha, like ALPHA, and I got all these websites about alpha men, which are these like real hard driving, hard charging men. So I said, wait a minute, this has nothing to do with custom shirts. It's worldofalpha.com, ALFA. And this is a company. Where did you hear about this, Johanna?
I heard it on Channel 5. What is it? Good Day, New York.
Okay.
With Rosanna Scotto in the morning, Channel 5.
Okay. Now, it's interesting. It seems pretty interesting. We'll have to get you some more information and see if we can't get people who've actually ordered from here. It's custom ordering for shirts, even women's shirts and things, and ties. It is a company started by the actor Boris Kodjoe, who I am not sure exactly what he's in. But it's worth a look. We'll investigate it because we're always into different things. And but I had to laugh, Johanna, because I got some. Then I started getting into like the world of alpha witchcraft. I mean, I don't know what was going on.
But his website is geared to having someone be able to get something custom made for not a lot of money.
Yeah, the prices are really good on it. So if anybody wants to go ahead and try that and get back to us, we will definitely do that ourselves. Okay, we are going to go into, we want to show a picture, if Lenny can put the photo up. We promised this last month's show. This is a photo of, you can see the diva Johanna in the middle there. Oh, my Lord. On the left is me. There's Lisa, then Michael Mulvaney, and then comes Melody, and they are professional makeup artists from Lancome. We went to a master class. And Johanna, do you want to say something to our viewers about master classes?
Yes, if you have the opportunity to attend one, it would be very beneficial to you. Lancome does a wonderful job at these master classes of training you with their new products and teaching you how to put it on. And they're used to now me being visually impaired, so they could give you some tips that I have given them. But you don't have to feel obligated to buy anything. This is to educate you, to get you familiar with their product. That day, I bought Star Mascara only. And I may go back and purchase some other products. I'm going to think about it, go back again. But it really is a very, very good learning tool to learn some new techniques and to learn some new products.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we want to get to a story, an inspirational style journey that was brought to our attention by our friend Margaret Ann Carbone over at Stage Accents in Northvale. Stage Accents creates and sells band and choir robes and different costumes for performing groups. And Margaret Ann got in touch with Johanna and I, and she said, hey, I think I have a really interesting story for you. And it sure was, wasn't it, Johanna?
Yes, very.
And let's say hello to everybody who's watching live out there at the Central Baptist Church Ministry out in Arkansas. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Looking Good Without Looking show. We're going to talk a little bit tonight, and then we're going to have Jimmy Arsenault join us. We're just going to talk a few minutes about this story, and I want to tell everyone we are going to have people on from the Overcomers Choir after they get done with their mini tour, which will probably be maybe the May show or the June show. But the story goes like this. You ready, Johanna?
Ready.
I even need my glasses because I may have to look at this. I look at my typed notes here. Okay. Johanna and I, when we go and we do any kind of seminar or when we speak to anyone, sighted or non-sighted, about looking your best, we always talk about respecting the occasion. To dress to respect the occasion, which requires planning, it requires thought, but if you put the thought into it and you look your best, then you can forget about how you look and be your real self and be confident and ace that job interview and get to that second date and impress your friends and look good at school. And that's what it's all about. It's all about respecting the occasion. And this little story is about a group of individuals who respected the occasion, right, Johanna?
Yes, they did. Absolutely.
Did, and we're so impressed. Okay. The story goes like this. I'm going to give the short version because we're going to go into this again in May or June. But Pat Qualls, who is one of the choir directors, along with Lynn Williams, I believe. Yes, Lynn Williams, her name is. Pat Qualls contacted Margaret Ann, and she placed an order for a couple of different pieces of choir costuming. And Lenny, whenever you get a chance, there's a men's and a woman's JPEG that I sent you. We can put those up and I'll talk to it. And Margaret got talking to them and she found out what happened here. And here's the story. 30 years ago, a couple named Johanna and Keith Breffel out at the Central Baptist Church in Arkansas, they started a special needs ministry with 2 adults, and they ended up having, I believe, there's 70 adults now in this ministry. A shirt, excuse me, I'm just talking to Lenny. It's called Amaryllis and Orion, I believe. Okay, we're looking at the vest right now. And just hold this up here for a sec, Lenny, so I can talk to it. All right. This choir started, Pat Qualls and Lynn Williams ended up, after Pat did a couple of special performances with the group that was started with Pastor Butchin and a pianist, taught these adults who are special needs to sing choruses, with them a little bit, and she ended up with Lynn Williams teaching this chorus how to become a choir. And they were performing at a couple of places with t-shirts, purple t-shirts that said Overcomers Choir on the back. And they wanted to respect the occasion, right, Johanna?
Yes, they did.
So they prayed for at least 6 months that they would be able to get professional choir attire. And that is exactly what happened. They chose the color purple because in the Bible that means royalty. And one of the grandfathers of one of the choir members donated $3,000. I'll get to his name in just a sec. But he donated $3,000 and they were able to get some choir attire. What we just showed you was the vest. The guys are going to be wearing that vest, and it's going to be purple and sparkly. And the ladies, I think they're wearing the amaryllis. Here's the top that they're going to be wearing, and it's black and sparkly. So I understand that the order, I believe, was shipped today out to Arkansas to the Overcomers Choir. When they have their uniforms together, when they have their attire together, they're having the skirt is going to be made for them by volunteers. The ladies are going to be wearing a black skirt. The guys are going to be wearing white tux vests white shirts and black ties. When they have it together, they are going on tour a little bit. And we are going to be seeing them later. We're going to hold the video of them till the very end of the show so that we can get Jimmy on. But I just wanted to say a couple more things about what's happening now. Pat and Lynn got them to sing like a choir. Now, Johanna, you have a music background. Is that kind of difficult?
Yeah, yes, it is. Very much. You need to know music and pitch and tone and harmony.
Well, apparently they did very well with it because they have a couple of dates, and I want to tell a couple of the dates. They are performing April 21, the Overcomers Choir, at the concert at First Baptist Church in Jonesboro. April 30th, they're at the 4th Annual Special Needs Music Program at Riceland Hall at Arkansas State University. May 1, they're doing a concert at First United Methodist Church. And May 2, another concert, and then they're coming back for a home concert at Central Baptist Church. So we want to wish everybody out there the best, right, Johanna?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Great job in picking the uniforms and or costumes, however, and break a leg.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to go to a commercial break. Everybody who has someone in their life that loves sports and may be feeling a little bit of back pain, we have a solution for you that really works. When we come back, inventor Jim Arsenault is on the line about Jox Core Support shorts. See you in a sec.
Linda will be right back after we take a 4-minute break to save our files for podcast. Stay right where you are.
Here we come, here we go. We gotta rock, 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 rock. Easy come, easy go. Now we on top, 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 top. Feel the shot, body rock, rockin', don't stop. Round and round, up and down, around the clock.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. A person suffering from depression might feel sad, empty, or numb. They might sleep more or less, eat a lot or not at all, or show little interest in participating in ordinary activities. Mood swings, including anger and sadness, are common. They're often tired and have a hard time concentrating or making decisions. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. If you see the symptoms of depression, get that person to a doctor. With medical help, depression can be treated and suicide can be prevented. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE, on the web at save.org.
Nothing inspires imagination like reading, and it's never too early to start reading to your children. When you open a book, you can explore new worlds like the ones in the Chronicles of Narnia.
Everything you see is Narnia.
Impossible.
You can make new friends, discover amazing adventures, and most of all, have fun.
Are you prepared for what awaits you?
To find out more about the wonders of reading, you can visit the Library of Congress website at www.loc.gov. There, you can learn more about books, play fun games, discover cool facts, and so much more. You can log on to www.loc.gov and let your journey begin. This message has been brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Thank you, and we're back. You know, when it comes to fighting crime, he's never going to roll over. He's McGruff the crime dog.
Roll over. You're okay, Joy.
Thanks.
And I got 2 words to make your neighborhood safer.
Uh-huh.
Coffee cake.
Ah, the old poison coffee cake trick. The cook takes a bite, falls down to the ground.
No, it's for your neighbors.
You want to poison your neighbors?
No, never.
Oh, thank goodness.
No, for 25 years, I've been giving tips about preventing crime. One of them is to invite people over for a cup of coffee and share the problems you see on your street and what to do about them.
That's great.
You can invite your local police officer to help, too.
You know, I hear they're very fond of donuts.
Oh, that's just a myth.
Oh, well, I'd come to your doghouse for coffee cake in a safer neighborhood.
Now you're talking. You can cut down on crime by not just locking your door, but opening up to your neighbors.
Still, a 10-pound bundt cake dropped on a bad guy's foot could help.
It couldn't hurt. And going to weprevent.org for other tips could help, too.
A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
I'm Judy, and my name is Johnny. We're 10 years old and we're blind. Our dreams are to become scientists.
My name is Catherine. I'm 24 years old and I'm blind. I'm currently in law school, and one day I dream of becoming an attorney.
My name is Bill. I'm 74 years old, and I've just become blind. My dream is to remain independent in my own home and not have to go to a nursing home just because I'm blind.
The National Federation of the Blind of New York has been helping blind people achieve their dreams since 1956. Help keep their dream machine running and visit blindnewyorkers.org to make a donation. You can also call them at 718-567-7821. Blind people are your neighbors and colleagues, so learn more about blindness and make your contribution today. Go to blindnewyorkers.org or call 718-567-7821. The National Federation of the Blind of New York. Today's dreams can become tomorrow's realities.
Back to looking good without looking. Here's Linda.
I'm going to keep talking because I know my sound's going to come on in a sec. Great. Okay, we are going to introduce to you now a fantastic guest, inventor Jim Arsenault of Jox Core Support Shorts. Jimmy, are you there?
Yes, I am, Linda. Good evening. How are you?
Fine. Welcome to the show.
I'm thrilled to be here. So good to be with you and Joanna.
We are absolutely thrilled to have you on. Now, I want to talk a little bit. We have the website that Lenny will put up at some point, Jimmy, and I will talk about what's on the screen. But I want you to tell us a little bit about your journey here with this product.
Well, thank you, Linda. It has been a journey. This actually was a concept I came up with a number of years ago. because I've always been an athlete throughout my life, and unfortunately came down with some back problems. And it was bothering me for many, many years, where I was having difficulty getting up and exercising and just going about my everyday activities. And I was working at the time with a gentleman who was a doctor who I told him about this idea I had, and he introduced me to the head of sports medicine, a back specialist at Hospital for Special Surgery, Dr. Vijay Vad. And Dr. Vad is kind of a famous physician who has a lot of athletes and celebrities as clients. And I was able to meet with him, told him about my idea, and he said to me at that time, he says, I think you really have something here. And so over the last couple of years, we went into development, a lot of testing of different products, testing by a biomechanical physiologist that worked for the U.S. military, and we finally came to a point where we said, this is the product that we need. This is the product that's going to help a lot of people out there get off the couches, become more active again, and just get back to a kind of a normal life. And since that time, we launched about a year and a half ago. We got the patent approved, and it's been just a great run we've had, and it's just great to see the results we're getting and testimonials we're getting from the people that wear it.
That's it's really an amazing story. Now, the website is joxstore.com. That's Jox, Jox store.com. So you can check it out. And I know there's a video there of Dr. Vad is his name, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Now,
we've been very fortunate. Since that time, we've also brought on board the chairman of the Texas Back Institute, Dr. Stephen Hochschuler, and we've brought on some terrific people to work with us. General John Keane with the U.S. military, Steve Ryan, who was the former president of NHL Merchandise and the Major League Soccer League, Peter Smith from IMG. So we've kind of surrounded ourselves with some great people who were involved in sports or in the military that, deal with back problems and try to bring relief to those people out there that can help them, not only professional athletes, but people that just are doing their everyday activities. And we see the results. People are getting up, they're exercising again, they're able to go outside, do their gardening, or go for a walk, and lose weight. And that's, like a show like yours, Looking Good Without Looking, trying to look your best, feeling your best, and really getting rid of pain. Pain is a big problem with a lot of people out there, especially lower back pain. So that was kind of what I was trying to accomplish, and we were able to put together these great materials that are very lightweight, breathable, and yet supportive. So it gives you that core and back support. And then we combine it with these instant hot and cold packs that go in the back of the product into a pouch so that your lower back is heated during activities, which reduces pain and kind of increases mobility. And then icing down your back after an activity brings down inflammation so that you're ready to go again the next day. And that's kind of what we've done. And we continue to get some great testimonials from professional athletes, baseball teams, hockey teams, basketball teams, football players, coaches, lacrosse players. So in the short period of time we've been out there, Linda, the results just speak for themselves.
I think that's great. I have a couple questions. You were kind enough to send me a couple pairs so that I can show the viewers in my hand. But I want to ask you something.
Sure.
You started off because you are a golfer, right? And you hurt your back. You wanted to wear them for golf.
Yeah, that was actually the main point of it originally was to play golf. I was anytime I was on a golf course, I'd be able to play maybe a couple of holes, and then my back would start acting up. And I'm sure a lot of people in your audience go through the same thing. And a lot of times I'd be on a golf trip with some friends of mine, and I couldn't play more than one day. And I just love the game. I belong to a golf course that's close to my home, and it was really affecting me, my lower back. I wasn't going up to the golf course. I wasn't able to walk like I used to. And once I started wearing this, the results were like immediate. I actually thought I was getting kind of a placebo effect from it. that I was talking myself into feeling better. So I had a biomechanical physiologist actually test the product out for me, where he would put it through, 40-mile bike rides, 20-mile jogs. He washed it 100 times. He stretched it. He did everything possible, and came back to me and said, "You know what, Jimmy, this thing actually does work." So everything I thought I was feeling was absolutely true. And then I had golf professionals starting wearing it. A lot of golf professionals in the metropolitan area, in Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York, Long Island area, are wearing it now. And what they tell me and what they've seen at their golf course with their members is that those members who are wearing Jox are playing more rounds of golf. So the reason is that they feel better. And, lower back pain affects probably 30 million people in the country. And when you're not able to go about your regular activities or going to work, whether you're a truck driver or an athlete or somebody who works in a hotel, we have found that anybody who wears Jox, it gets them up, it gets them working again. They reduce that lower back pain, and they just feel better. So it weighs less than 10 ounces. You wear it as your regular underwear, and it gives you that back and core support where we've done clinical testing at the Hospital for Special Surgery, and we showed, less than 20% less back pressure in that lower back area, which is the axis of rotation. And that's what makes the difference on how you feel and how you do your everyday activities. If you can get off the couch and you feel better by wearing your Jox, or just recently with the snowstorms, I put my Jox on, I was able to go out there and shovel snow, and I didn't have any back problems, where in the past I'd have to go to my chiropractor or a back pain specialist, and, I didn't want to be on drugs, and I didn't want to get injections in my back, so by wearing this, it just was it completely changed my lifestyle.
We have a caller who wants to speak to you. Now, as you know, with this show, fans that have been with us a while, we definitely test things out. And we have someone who has tested Jox Core Support shorts on the phone. It is my brother Dan from Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Danny, are you there?
I am here.
Hello, how are you? Say hi to Johanna and Jimmy.
Hello, how is everyone tonight?
Hey, Dan, good evening. Nice talking with you.
Dan, do you have a question, or you want to tell us about your experience?
I just want to say that I like the product very much, Lynn and Jim. I appreciate being introduced to this, because it really is quite remarkable how it works. And for me, it reminds me, when I have them on, how I'm supposed to be moving and lifting, and that I should concentrate more on what I'm doing. It feels very nice on and firms things up, and I've experienced much less pain when wearing them.
That's great to hear. I love stories like that, Dan. It really makes everything I've done worthwhile, and it's great to hear that. And from the other people I've talked to out there, that's what it's all about, is making you feel better and just getting you up and doing your everyday activities is reward enough for me.
Yeah, it's really great. I do. I'm trying to get used to it. I've never had a product like this before, and it does take like my tummy, which I do tend to like food a lot, and if I crank it a little too tight, sometimes I can tell I have to loosen it up a little bit, especially when I'm getting used to them, it seems like. But
well, that's what the product is all about.
Great.
Also, you can adjust it to your comfort level, and yet you're still getting that core and back support. I like to tell people that, none of my friends have six-packs, and I never had a six-pack. Most of my friends have quarter kegs and half kegs, and sometimes full kegs.
I got a mini keg.
There you go. So you know what? That keg, whether you're a man or a woman, adds a lot of pressure to that lower back. And
I realize
you have that core support that keeps you firm. That pressure is lowered quite a bit, and yet you still have the mobility to do your everyday activities. And that's why it's great to wear when you're doing any kind of sports, because it doesn't really restrict your movement at all. So if you're a golfer or a baseball player or a tennis player, you can actually make a full movement and still have that support and not restrict it at all. And then if you add a hot pack, Dan, I don't know if you've done this yet. If you use the hot pack,
I have.
You can use it throughout your activity. It lasts between 8 to 12 hours, and it loosens those lower back muscles, and that's the key also to getting more range of motion.
Yeah, I wear them. I've worn them to work for most of a day and found it very enjoyable. It really makes me do my routines much more efficiently because it gives me the support and I'm concentrating. It reminds me what to do, actually. That's my own personal thing.
That's exactly it. You know, when you're bending over, and, you know, a lot of times when you bend over, you're supposed to kind of like bend your knees before you go down and pick something up. This will actually give you like almost a hinge effect. So you can still bend over and reach down to the floor and then come back up, and you don't have that strain on the lower back like you would without having them on. So I'm so happy, Dan, that you're getting the benefits that I've always tried. That's what the design was all about. So that's terrific.
Really, I appreciate it very much. It really is quite a useful tool for me.
That's great to hear. And I hope the audience out there hears this also, because we'd love to get them involved. And it really does change your life when you wear these. And it's so lightweight that you can wear it under your clothes. And it's breathable also.
I like that
so you're
part
not really
very much
sweating
about
with
it.
it on.
It does fit under my clothes very nice.
Absolutely. You know, you don't see it under your clothes. And this is for all your women listeners also, Linda, is that when you wear it, I don't want to compare it to Spanx because it's not quite that kind of product. This actually has some therapeutic value. That it does have that slimming effect when you're wearing it also. So
great.
It does make a difference, and then you don't really notice it underneath your clothes because it's so thinly made. The materials that we've used are patented materials, and they're very, very lightweight. So when you really hold it in your hand, it's amazing. When you look at it, you think it's a heavy apparel, but when you pick it up, it's so lightweight. So I think, and like your brother just said, I think a lot of your listeners would really benefit from wearing it.
Yes, and Dan, hang on the phone because we want to get Johanna's comments in a sec. Johanna, why don't you ask some questions? I am going to hold the product up, and intermittently, I'm going to open the Velcro now, which everyone is going to hear on the panel in the front. So I am going to show this, that this is the adjustable panel. Hold on, let me open it. And when you wash these, Jimmy, I know that it says lost Danny, and I just want to say thank you for calling in, Dan. I'm glad you enjoyed the product. There is a Velcro, it looks almost like, I would have to say, for those who don't have vision, maybe like a world championship boxing belt almost, correct?
It very much is, yes. But it's still, you can adjust that to make it tighter or looser, however you feel. A lot of golfers tell me, Linda, that when they're playing the back nine, they actually tighten it up a little bit, and when they come off the golf course, they're much more relaxed and they're not as fatigued because of the compression. Now, compression helps circulation, so the upper part of your legs and the lower part of your back with that compression combined with the hot and cold packs is not only going to relax those back muscles, but it's also going to increase circulation. So it's going to give you a lot less fatigue with any activity you do. So whether you're shoveling snow or going for a walk, you're just going to feel not as tired as you usually would be. So and it also takes a little while to get used to it also, because not everybody's used to wearing compression.
Okay, Johanna, I'm sure you have some questions for Jimmy. Go ahead.
Yes, number one, Spanx sometimes can be a little warm,
Okay, sure.
Is your product more breathable?
Absolutely, Joanna. We used very specialized materials. That, again, as I said earlier, they're patented. The belt is a product called Breathaprene, and the shorts are made out of a breathable spandex that's actually treated with an antimicrobial and an antibacterial agent. So you could wear these a number of times without washing them, and they still are as fresh as the first time you put them on. And when you wear them also, the fact that if you do perspire even a little bit, it wicks the perspiration away from your body. That's something Spanx does not do with their materials. And Spanx is a wonderful product, and they've been very, very successful. Our product is really based on the therapeutic benefits of wearing something like this. It's not necessarily, something that you're going to use for just slimming effect. This is something that actually is going to benefit your lower back.
Another question, you mentioned, people would use these to lose weight. So, of course, when they're starting out, they're a full-figured person, man or woman. How do they fit? What sizes are they?
We actually go up to triple XL sizes, and eventually we'll be able to customize a size for a customer. We're a very new company. We don't have that capability yet, but eventually we will be able to customize. If a customer sent us their sizes, we'll have the ability to send that, design that size and have it out to a customer very quickly. We've had calls already with larger customers, and we do our best to accommodate them. It's not always easy because there's so many different sizes, and you want Jox to fit you properly. So we're getting to that point, but right now our sizes range anywhere from small to triple XL.
Okay, Johanna, we have another caller on the line. Tom from Saddle River. Are you there, Tom?
Yeah, Jim, I've got a question for you. A friend of mine gave me the Jox compression shorts after I had a lower back operation, and the heat pack was just unbelievable. It felt terrific. And I wanted to ask you, is the kind of thing that if you take out the hot and cold pack, you can wear all the time for just general back support with all the stuff you do?
Yeah, Tom. The hot pack is, you can. A lot of times I wear Jox without a hot pack because I don't need it. But if my back's a little tight in the morning, if I'm going for a walk or a jog, I'll slip a hot pack in there, and it loosens my back muscles up immediately. And again, that lasts for about 8 to 12 hours, and it's an instant pack. We built these packs to be convenient for our wearer. So whether you're at the office or you're in your car or you're at the gym, you can have these hot and cold packs placed, in a convenient place for you that whenever you need them, they're there. And eventually we'll have, a cold pack that you can refreeze in the freezer. It's tough to find a hot pack that you can reheat that, will last 8 to 12 hours. So we've used technology that will heat you up between 8 to 12 hours, and that heat is constant. So you can wear it throughout your activity. You can wear it throughout the day. There's been instances where I've actually worn it, where I've strained my back a little bit. I put a hot pack in there. I wear it for a number of hours, then I ice it down. And I got to tell you, the difference is like night and day. I don't have to go to my chiropractor. I don't have to go to my back specialist because all of a sudden those back muscles are relaxed, and it relieves that pressure of the nerve hitting the spine in that L4, L5 lower back area. And that's where the majority of pain occurs with our the patients or wearers that we have. And Tom, for your information also, we have a medical version called Back Jox that just came out recently. It was just insurance approved by Medicare, Medicaid, and all the major insurance companies. And it's a little more rigid belt. It's actually for patients with serious back problems or or post-surgical. And again, there's 30 million back sufferers out there, and some have more severe injuries than others. But either Jox or Back Jox would be something I'd recommend for you.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
I got a follow-up question, if that's okay.
Sure.
Well, when you say it's approved, does that mean insurance pays for it if I go to the doctor?
That's correct. If you go to a doctor now, we have an LO627 code approval. And so if you go to your doctor, the doctor would then send you to an orthotist, and the orthotist would fit you for a pair of Back Jox. And they'd have to mold these plastic molds that fit into the back pouches and the front pouch of Back Jox. So it becomes more rigid. It really stabilizes the patient. And that's really for somebody that has a serious back injury. And actually what you can do, as you're healing, as you're coming off the Back Jox, then you would fit back into a regular pair of Jox, so that you still have that core support, but, it's not as severe an injury at that point. So it's kind of like weaning you down to a lower level of support. With our Back Jox, you really don't have a lot of movement. It's really to stabilize the patient and keep them from moving or, causing a subluxation on the lower back nerves, and that's what our medical version is trying to do. But if you're at that point, Tom, I can recommend a doctor for you. It's either an orthopedic or back specialist, and we actually have a distributor now in the metropolitan area, Biodynamics, and you could actually call them directly and order repair also.
Thank you so much,
Or my
Tom.
doctor can call him.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate your call.
Jimmy, I wanted to say, just tell everybody the price is very reasonable when you consider. Now, there you have a way that you can get them covered by insurance. But if you buy them from JoxStore.com, they also are very reasonable, considering that a typical physical therapy or chiropractor visit has to be at least $100.
Yeah, Linda, we actually charge $79.95 for a pair. And to your listeners and viewers tonight, we'll actually give them a discount of free shipping and also 4 free hot packs, which is between a $20 to $25 value. And if you go to our website, as Linda explained earlier, www.joxstore.com, if you put in the code JOX1, we'll give you free shipping and 4 free hot packs. So, for $79.95, you can't beat it.
That's wonderful. And everybody out there who's listening, if you have someone in your life that is suffering from low back pain and you want to get them a wonderful gift, a very thoughtful gift, especially to keep them active or make them active, go to JoxStore.com, put in JOX1, and we get a special discount at Looking Good Without Looking. That's exciting, Jimmy. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda, very much for having me on. This has been great.
We are so glad. Johanna, your parting words for Jimmy. What a wonderful guest.
Yes, it was very informative, very interesting, and I'm looking forward to meeting you and seeing the product in person.
Yes, thank you so much, Joanna. Again, Linda and Joanna, thanks to your staff. It's been a pleasure working with you. And Lenny and Lori, thanks so much for having me on tonight.
Jimmy, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much. And we'll have more information on our Facebook page and lookinggoodwithoutlooking.com. Thank you and good night, Jimmy. Johanna, you and I said, there is a lot of activity that goes into golfing. In fact, if you walk all 18 holes with a bag playing golf, you burn 25 Weight Watchers points.
Wow. Maybe we should do that, Linda.
We need double jocks. Listen, we only have a couple minutes left in the show. We're hoping that Lenny can tee up that video of the Overcomers Choir, and we'll go out to that as soon as Lenny gets that up. It's probably about a minute or so long, Lenny. And we just want to say what a wonderful show tonight. Johanna and I had more to share with you, but we actually ran out of time. Visit us on Facebook. Go to lookinggoodwithoutlooking.com. If there's anything we can do for you before next month's show, please get in touch with us. Johanna?
Yes, have a wonderful month, and happy St. Patrick's Day coming up in March, and happy St. Joseph's Day. And we'll keep giving you the tips on fashion and makeup.
Thanks, Johanna. Okay, we're about to go out to the Overcomers Choir. Hey, you guys out in Arkansas, hope we get to see you someday, and best of luck. We'll see you on a future show.
Most of the singers have a disability. THV's Pam Bacom emceed the event and has the story tonight. Pam?
Well, Liz, I had a chance to introduce this group as the entertainment portion of today's event. The choir is made up of people of different ages and disabilities. Everyone is accepted as long as they sing their hearts out.
Deep river.
To sing a solo in front of a crowd
To that gospel.
takes a lot of nerve. But David Jones demonstrates courage every day.
The disability doesn't bother me because I have a smile on my face every time.
Jones is blind.
I almost died when I had a disease called meningitis.
Jones finds support in the Central Baptist Special Ministries choir group made up of people with disabilities. They all agreed on the choir's name, a name they can all relate to, calling themselves the Overcomers.
I had disability and I almost died when I was a baby, and I have overcome a lot of things in my life.
Dewey Graves, another soloist, has cerebral palsy and only weighed a pound when he was born.
That is why I'm here today, because people are praying for me. Jesus.
They travel around the state displaying their talents. Whether it's singing or signing the music, they know their disability does not limit them.
The choir is based in Jonesboro, and they do more than sing. They also participate in sporting events like the Special Olympics. Liz.
What a great group. Pam, thank you. The ministry started at 20... Looking Good Without Looking is produced by Linda Zani Thomas in cooperation with the WTOE Radio Network. All words, ideas, and content expressed on the Looking Good Without Looking are solely those of Linda Zani Thomas, and not necessarily those of the National Federation of the Blind, the Northeast New Jersey chapter, or the WTOE Internet Radio Network. To contact Linda about your personal style journey, email her at lindazani@aol.com. LINDAZANI@AOL.com, or join the Looking Good Without Looking Facebook page.
That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night.
Hi, this is Joe Ruffalo of WTOE Radio. If you are a resident in New Jersey and would like to join one of our chapters or have some more information about our chapters, please contact me at 973-743-0075 or email me at nfbnj@yahoo.com.
Are you stuck in front of your computer listening to our shows? Well, you may be happy to know that you don't have to be anymore. Hi, this is Keith Zalley, your announcer here at WTOE Radio. Of course, you know we broadcast live on throughoureyes.org, but did you know we simulcast on Facebook, Ustream.tv, as well as all of our show's host websites? And now you don't have to be stuck trying to catch your favorite show on your computer. You can listen or even watch our shows live right on your smartphone or iPad. During broadcast nights, just point your phone or iPad browser to our mobile site, m.throughoureyes.org, and click on the Listen or Watch Live link. WTOE also offers many smart apps for your iPhone, BlackBerry, Android, Windows Mobile, or Nokia phones, iPads too, all for free. Visit our main site, www.throughoureyes.org/appstores.html, and download your free app today.
Advertise your events on internet radio and podcasts free. Need to advertise your club or organization's next event? Whether it's one announcement or different ones weekly or monthly, now you can. ThroughOurEyes.org, using our WTOE radio live broadcast and our podcast, give you the ears of the world. You can take advantage of our free offer in one of two ways: recording your announcement on your computer or calling our toll-free telephone number. Visit our website to learn more.
Hi, I'm Keith Zalley, your announcer here at throughoureyes.org. Thanks for tuning in to WTOE Radio's live broadcast. Our recording session will start shortly. While you are waiting, I'd like to ask all our listeners who have not yet registered at Through Our Eyes to consider doing so. Registering helps us ascertain whom our listeners are, where they come from, if they are blind or visually impaired, as well as other important information which helps us guide us in providing programming that will meet our visitors' needs. I urge all our listeners to register today. It's free and only takes a minute to complete the process. Please read our privacy policy so you can be assured that the information you provide stays with us and only us, and you'll never get any unwanted emails. Well, we're almost ready to begin. Since what you are about to listen to is live, after each recording of the show, you'll hear approximately 15 minutes of music. This is the time we are contacting our next guest for the next show. When the show starts, you'll hear it in its entirety. Our recording sessions usually comprise 3 separate shows, each about 15 to 20 minutes in length, with approximately 15 minutes between each session. So once again, thanks for listening to WTOE Radio Live. Our recording session will start momentarily. I'm Keith Zalley. Next hour, join Steve and his guests as they talk about topics geared to educate and inform his audience. Listen as Steve brings his unique experiences as an author, business leader, teacher, and law enforcement professional to the conversation. Together with outstanding guests, Steve asks the questions that make a difference in his listeners' lives. You're guaranteed to be better off after you listen to the KOVACS Perspective than before his show started. So, sit back, relax, and see what his show can do for you.
Perspective, I'm Steve Kovacs. You know, HIV/AIDS, you can get it several ways. One way is through a tainted blood transfusion. Our first guest got HIV/AIDS through a transfusion over 25 years ago. 25 years ago. Her daughter, tragically, died from HIV at 14. Our guest, though, is alive and doing well and will tell us about HIV/AIDS, her journey with it, and her vibrant survival and what she's up about and what she's doing right now. Our second guest developed lung cancer at 42 years old. You know, I personally know several people close to me who developed lung cancer and died shortly thereafter, right after diagnosis. You know, months, one about a year after diagnosis. Well, our guest refused chemotherapy or surgery for that matter and opted for holistic and quote unquote, and we'll talk about this, natural treatment. So our guest refused surgery, refused chemotherapy, and that was over 38 years ago. 38 years ago. He'll fill us in on his unique story. You know, what we have tonight is pretty much two medical marvels in a way, ladies and gentlemen. Two medical marvels. HIV surviving from the beginning stages. And if those of us that do remember years ago, HIV, when you got HIV, it was pretty much considered a death sentence years ago. And our guest is alive. She's going to tell us why she's maybe here, what she went through, what people need to be mindful of now. We'll talk about her terrible journey and the loss of her loved child. Our second guest, lung cancer, terrible illness, terrible illness. If you're a smoker, you probably ought to put it away. I put mine away 11 years ago. But a terrible illness. This gentleman said, I don't want chemotherapy. I don't want surgery. That ain't going to happen. I'm going to try certain things. I want to find out what those certain things are. You may want to do the same thing. So stick around because we'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
We'll be right back with Steve and his guests right after these few messages.
You take the family to the food court. Your wife and Pete head for tacos. You and Danny want Chinese. You look up at the menu. You look down to see what Danny wants. But you don't see Danny.
Danny!
Every parent knows that feeling. Imagine if he were actually abducted. To receive free Amber Alerts on your cell phone, Go to wirelessamber-alerts.org. A child is calling for help. Brought to you by the Wireless Foundation, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Ad Council.
Oh, hi, Jessica.
Hi, Mrs. Johnson. Is Megan there?
Sure. Follow me. The kids are in the kitchen making sandwiches.
Hey, Julie. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Megan. Hey, Megan.
Yeah?
You're a total freak. God, you're ugly. And dumb. Oh, and your makeup makes you look like a tramp. Oh, my God. Tommy Morris told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. The whole school knows. He said your breath smelled like garbage, and he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows. And that dress is totally hideous. You look like a big fat clown. Disgusting. Oh, and by the way, nice zit.
If you wouldn't say it in person, why say it online? Delete cyberbullying. Don't write it, don't forward it. For more information, visit ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
You must be your fairy godmother. Yes.
It doesn't take a fairy godmother to tell you that the right fit means everything.
Good heavens, child. You can't go in that.
Children under 4'9" need to be in a booster seat because they aren't ready for adult safety belts alone. Remember that 4'9" is the magic number, and get your little pumpkin there safely in a booster seat.
Oh, thank you.
For more information, visit boosterseat.gov. This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
And now back to the KOVACS Perspective.
Welcome back, everybody. Steve KOVACS here. Our first guest was diagnosed with HIV at 14. And she contracted it from a blood transfusion. Her daughter at 14 died from HIV. And our guest is alive and has a tale to tell and can help you, can help me on finding out about HIV/AIDS and maybe what she went through. Maybe something can spark something in us to learn more about it, and we in turn can help others deal with this disease that has really come a long way in the way that we can treat it, and we want to find out about that. But first, let me introduce Jessie Snyder. Hi, Jessie. How are you doing?
I'm doing great tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Jessie, you have such an intriguing story to me, and I'll tell you why it grabs me. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I believe, and Jessie, you can, when I give you the mic back, you can tell me if I'm wrong. Jessie writes for a site that I love. It's called searchwarp.com. I do a weekly column there, and there's a ton of good writers, and Jessie's one of them. So that intrigues me. But what really got me, Jessie, about your story is that you, I believe you were pregnant, and you had a medical condition that the doctors said, hey, we got to give her a transfusion. And through that transfusion, you developed HIV/AIDS. Am I right? Is that how you got it?
Yes, sir. That's how I contracted it. I had my neck broke, and I had to have surgery to repair my broken neck. And during the surgery, I lost too much blood and had to receive 2 pints of blood. One of the pints was contaminated with HIV virus.
Wow. Jessie, let me ask you a silly question, because, even when I read this, is there a difference between HIV and AIDS?
Yes, there is. HIV is the virus that causes AIDS. When you're just HIV positive, you just carry the virus. That it's like like a pneumonia virus, but you don't actually have pneumonia. So, but once you go to full-blown AIDS is when your CD4 count or you get an opportunistic infection, then you have full-blown AIDS.
Okay, thanks for straightening me out there, because I had heard that it's the same, it's different. You explain it well. Now, what do you have? Jessie, what do you have right now? It's 2000.
I actually have AIDS now. I was diagnosed with AIDS in 94.
So since 1994, you've had, I'll use it, full-blown AIDS. And how come you look so good on camera? I like the hat. You look good. I mean, our reception's a little bit off, but that's a technical thing. So why are you doing so good? I always heard if you had AIDS, you're in deep poo-poo.
I keep a positive attitude, and I have a strong faith in God.
Okay. Well, you know, that's plain and simple. You keep a strong, positive attitude and a faith in God. I can't argue with either of those. But, you know, I talked to a nurse not too long ago, and she told me that HIV/AIDS has progressed so much in the last, 10 years or so, that now when you're diagnosed, of course it's a terrible, terrible illness, but they have very good treatments for it. Is that your view also?
Yes, I'm on a treatment called a triplet, which is a really good medication. It's 3 drugs in one that I only take once a day, and I actually call it my wonder drug because since I've been taking it, my CD4 count went from like 22 to over 1,000. So, you know, I'm doing really well. I'm kind of what you would say if you had cancer, you would say you're in remission, but I guess, you know, with AIDS, they haven't quite named it remission yet, so.
Okay. Hey, who's the famous basketball player? I just drew a blank. Magic Johnson, right? He has it.
Magic Johnson, yeah.
And he's kind of like you.
He's in remission from it, too.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I believe he's in remission, total remission from it as well, from medications that he was taking.
Okay, so you got it through a transfusion. Now, were you pregnant when you got the virus?
Yes.
And because of the pregnancy, right, when they gave you the tainted blood, the bad blood, your daughter got it also, right?
Yeah, I passed it on to my daughter through birth.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. And your daughter, I guess, got the virus right from birth, and lived for how long, Jessie?
She lived for 12 years.
12 years, huh? Wow. You got to love her, you got to know her, you got to touch her, you got to touch her soul and all that good stuff, though, didn't you?
Yeah. It was really hard losing her because, you know, she was my angel. You know, she's the one that kept me going. Oh. And I still keep going because of her.
Tragic. And you, maybe because you're older, maybe the treatments they had at that time worked for you where it didn't work for her. Because you guys knew she had it, correct?
Yeah, we knew she had it from the very beginning, but it's just all the medications we tried for her, she became resistant to them, so it didn't work for her.
It didn't work for her, yeah. Now, you do talks, or you used to do talks, right? Like seminar kind of things at schools about AIDS. Is that true?
Yes.
What did you used to tell people? What do you tell in school? What do you tell people?
I just tell people about how you can contract HIV or AIDS and what it's like, you know, to tell my story about what it's like living with HIV and AIDS and how I've survived for as long as I have, and just try to give encouragement and let people know that AIDS is not a death sentence. You know, you can have life after AIDS diagnosis.
Yeah, now I think that's very important because I'll tell you, Jessie, that before talking to this nurse not long ago and then reading some information about you, I kind of thought it was a death sentence too. I mean, I've been seeing that the treatments are better, but I still think that. Now, I'm going to get a little bit more graphic here, but you know, we're not here to pussyfoot around. I want to at least help somebody, at least one person that's listening. We may have 1,000 listening. We may have 50,000 when it's in a podcast, but I want somebody to get something out of this. So what are the ways you can get AIDS? Talk to me.
You can get it through blood, semen, women's vaginal secretions, and breast milk.
Breast milk? Totally didn't know. Now, you said through semen. Now, I'm going to touch a touchier subject. You can get it through intercourse, of course. You can get it, apparently, through oral sex, then? Yes. Okay, the reason I bring that up is, and I don't feel comfortable, you know, this ain't a sex show. I don't feel comfortable about bringing that up. But I know adults and a lot of kids I hear, you know, I don't know the kids personally, but I hear this from adults that deal with kids. They think that oral sex is not sex. I mean, it's like, you're not going to get anything. And I've heard that through oral sex is one of the major ways you can get throat cancer. And now you're an expert in this. I hate to say, Jessie, you're an expert in HIV/AIDS because you've been there, done it. You're alive. You lost your child tragically. So you're saying that you can get it, of course, through intercourse, and you can get HIV/AIDS through oral sex, right?
Yes. It may not be as common as what it is through vaginal sex, but you can't get it through oral sex because, again, being graphically, when the man ejaculates into the woman's mouth, all of his semen goes down her throat. So if he's got it, she's definitely going to get it. Well, 9 times out of 10 anyway, she's going to get it.
9 times out of 10. And I think that's important for kids. I guess for adults, too. From what I understand, I've heard adults say, it's oral sex. The odds are unlikely. I'm not going to get HPV. I'm not going to get anything, everybody, you got to live a little. Well, HIV is not a death sentence, but it's something that I'm sure, Jessie, you wouldn't recommend somebody. You'd recommend to do everything you can not to get what you have, right?
Yes. Now,
Jessie, my reception's a little bit.
I wouldn't want anybody to have to endure the disease that I have. I wouldn't want anybody to have to endure the disease that I've had to deal with for almost 27 years now.
Yeah, 27 years. So if you and I were in a school right now, and you were at the stage, you're better looking than me, you look prettier, so they're going to listen to you anyway, but what would you tell a group of 15-year-olds right now? So what would be your main theme? Just it's not a death sentence, but how would you start your little talk to them? Imagine there's a group of 15-year-olds out in front of us. What would you say to them?
First of all, I would tell them not to have sex, but if they are going to have sex, to please use protection.
Okay, again, I'm having difficulty hearing.
Once myself, I know that once telling a teenager not to have sex is like telling a hole in the wall not to be a hole in the wall.
Right, very true. Very true, but what you just said, though, is that if you're going to have sex, have protection. It's very, very important. And the same goes for adults. Now, Jessie, because my reception is a little bit choppy, and that sometimes happens, it's Murphy's Law, electronic Murphy Law in our case. But you write now. Do you write about HIV or do you write about other stuff? Has it touched you so much that that's your main focus still in life or no?
That's still my main focus in life. I write mostly about HIV, how I live with it, how people can contract it. Everything that I know and everything that I can learn about HIV and AIDS, I write about it. Among other things, I have written about other articles too, but my main topics is about HIV and AIDS.
Okay. You also help writers, don't you? What kind of services? What do you do? How do you help writers?
I try to help promote them to get them into writing classes or whatever they need to get them to become better writers, editing their work and stuff, and just trying to help them out because writing is my passion. So I try to use that as my passion and my gift to help others.
Well, it's really something when you get a passion, Jessie, right? And you have a passion to let people know about HIV/AIDS, that it's not a death sentence, how you can get it, and that you can go on. But when you have a passion, Jessie, and I write too, doesn't it make writing so much easier when you have a story that you gotta tell? Doesn't it make your writing easier for you?
Yes, it does.
Now, did you say you edit other people's writing? So if they're writing a book or they're starting to write, you offer them a service, I'm assuming a paid service, that you'll look at their work and you'll say, well, this doesn't look real good, or you might want to change this up. You do that kind of work?
Yes.
And how does somebody get a hold of you?
I just started doing it. I just completed they just call my number or contact me by email.
Okay, now I'm going to send your email, and I'm watching you on camera here, and I think you're not talking, and the reason I say that is reception's bad today, but I believe your email, and this is how people can get a hold of you. It's Snyder, J39.wix.com. Hey, Jessie, just let me tell you something. That's a lot of dots and stuff. You got to shorten that up, my friend. people are going to stumble on that. So I'm going to say it again. So anybody listening, and you want to get to know a little bit more about Jessie Snyder, contracted AIDS, HIV at 14, turned into full-blown AIDS, tragically lost her child who also got HIV because of that transfusion she was given. You want to find out more about her. And if you're into writing, you want to see what she might be able to do for you writing. SnyderJ39.wix.com. Jessie, I want to talk to you, and I don't want to get too much into God because, there's different groups of people. There's some people that are all about God, and there are people that are about God and they keep it to themselves. And there are some people that don't really know where they stand. But I'm guessing, Jessie, that what you went through, you're not sitting on any God kind of fence. You're pretty much comfortable. You're pretty much comfortable knowing your God. And I hate to, I don't mean nothing by that, but you are very comfortable that there's a God and he or she or it is with you daily, right?
Yes. I truly believe in God because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be alive today. And I just, I thank God every day that I wake up and every day that I'm able to live another day. I just thank him because I know that I could, doctor said I wouldn't live to be 18, but here I am. I'm 39 years old. I'll be 40 in April, and I'm still here.
Okay, now the other thing I'm going to put you on the spot. How about what can you tell somebody? You got to think about this, Jessie, because this is a big thing I'm asking you to talk about. But I just got to believe, and you just affirmed it for me, that you know inside yourself that there's a God and he's with you, et cetera, et cetera. How can you convince, or not convince, it's not our job to convince, and it's certainly not mine, but how can you maybe help somebody right now that's sitting at their computer, because we only have a few more minutes, and they have a cancer, they have HIV, they have a tragedy. Let's keep it a medical tragedy going on in their lives. They don't buy God, they don't believe it. Too many people are getting killed. More people have been killed in the name of religion than anything else. Jessie, here's the big putting you on the spot. What would you say to somebody that is not sure about God? How could they maybe find God like you say you did?
Well, I say it like this because I don't believe in accidents or coincidences. I think everything happens for a reason, and that reason is because God allows it to happen to make you a stronger person. So, for those who don't believe in God, I would just tell them to read the Bible, to pray more, to actually sit down and have a talk with God just themselves, and try to maybe they could get answers for themselves.
Well, that's probably it, isn't it, Jessie? Maybe you get that answer somehow yourself. I don't think anybody, and we watch television and we hear about many religions, and not only the Muslim faith, you got the Christian, certain facets of Christian, and on, just that pretty much look at you, Jessie, they look us in the eye and they go, you better believe in what I'm believing or I'm going to, and I really mean that. There's some people that actually get violent if you don't buy their story. And I think, Jessie, like you just said, that it's something maybe that that person will find out on their own. Maybe you, by your story, you can take someone to that area where they might be able to find themselves on a deeper level, and even going further in how you believe, just by being shown some things, or as you put it, talking to God. They might be able to pick up something, right, Jessie, and find maybe what you found?
Yes. I believe if they just, if they would just have a talk with God, they could probably find it on their own. I pray that they would, because that's my whole ambition in life is to spread the word, to spread God's word through my writing, spread God's word through my testimony to let everyone know that, you know, life itself is not a death sentence. Not just AIDS or cancer or one of the diseases, but life is what you make of it.
You know, life is what you make of it, Jessie, but, I mean, you were dealt a card. Not a card, you were dealt a deck of cards with death looming all over it. So, I mean, I guess you just said it, so you must have a big part in what you've made of your life. But you're saying, unquestionably, that God helped you with that life, right? Directed you which way to go and gave you the power and strength to get there, right?
Yes, he very much did.
All right. Now, I don't want to talk any more about religion because that's not what I'm about. But it's interesting. I just know that you are deep down inside that is probably the cornerstone, the foundation of what you feel is keeping you alive. Of course, you're doing medication and all that. But again, ladies and gentlemen, Snyder, J, 39.wix.com. Go on there, see what she's got to offer, what she's about. Before I let you go, Jessie, you have full-blown AIDS, as you call it. Do you have limitations? You know, it used to be, Jessie, that when we heard someone had just HIV or AIDS, I mean, everybody cleared the room, you know. They ran. How are you with friends and family? Do they have to not touch you, or that's ridiculous? Who has to fear getting AIDS from you?
I have had people in my past that have feared me because they found out that I was positive, but the majority of my friends, they understand it, and they know that they can't get it just by being in the same room with me.
Now, are you allowed to drink alcohol, as an example?
I've been very blessed. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't really hear that, but I guess you're saying that you don't drink?
Because, you know, what was that?
I couldn't hear what you said, but did you say that you do not drink alcohol?
No, I don't drink, and I do smoke cigarettes, which I shouldn't. But you know, I just try to stay as positive as I can and take care of myself the best way I can. You know, take my medicine, do everything the doctor says to do, and just keep my faith in God.
Now, does the doctor that you deal with, does he have a prognosis at this point? You said you've had it. How old are you now?
I'll be 39. I'm 39. I'll be 40 in April.
All right, you're young. I mean, you're young. As far as I'm concerned, you're real young. I wish I was your age. But I mean, does the doctor tell you anything? Does he sit down with you and say, Jessie, you have the potential to live, you know, like a regular, quote unquote, 80 years old?
I had a certain amount of time to live, but after I pass those dates, then they don't say it anymore. Like when I was first diagnosed, they said I wouldn't live to be 18, but hey, I'm 39, you know?
That's right. I mean, you lived a long time. How about a cold? A person with HIV, or in your case, full-blown AIDS, does a cold affect you more? I mean, do you get sicker? Or if you have a stomach virus, do you get sicker than, let's say, your neighbor that is HIV, it doesn't have AIDS?
Yes. Yes, I have to worry about people that's got colds and stuff, because a cold to me can turn into pneumonia real quick, you know, and it could actually kill me.
Really? So you do have to watch all that. So you have certain ways and a certain way you have to live.
Yeah, I have to. I don't really go out much. That's why I do all my classes online, and I do all my work from inside my house, because I don't like being around a lot of people, especially in the wintertime when a lot of colds is running around, because, you know, either one of those colds could be my death sentence.
Wow. So. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Good to know. I wasn't sure that. I kind of thought maybe your immune system might be a little bit compromised. Okay, so you have very real medical issues you got to deal with. Jessie, we have about a minute and a half left. Jessie, this is your time. If you're a writer and you have a passion, I'm guessing, because I know a lot of writers now, through searchwarp.com mainly, that they have a passion. And many of them don't want to push it down people's throat. But you have something that most people don't have and don't know anything about. I'm putting you on the spot. Boy, you're going to hate me after we're done. But I'm putting you on the spot. We got a minute left now. In a minute, what can you tell people that have been diagnosed with HIV or AIDS? What can you tell them to help them right now?
I would tell them to never give up on life, to always cherish every moment that they have, but to keep on living life as if every day was their last day. Because, like as I said, AIDS is not a death sentence. It doesn't have to be the end of your life anymore.
Excellent. So, look at you, right, Jessie? At your age, you've lived this long. It's not a death sentence. You don't want to go there, but if you've fallen into that trap. If you've fallen into that trap, it's not a death sentence, and you could go on. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to Jessie Snyder. She writes for searchwarp.com. She writes all over the place. Get a hold of her if you want. She offers writers some services, editing. Get to know her story. Get to know her, and possibly take a look at her services. Maybe I will too. And how do you do that? Snyder, J39.wix.com. Jessie, we had some reception difficulties, but I enjoyed talking to you, and I consider it a privilege that you told me what's really deep inside you, and of course, talking about your daughter that died. And it's been years, but I'll still offer my condolences on that to you, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to being my guest. Thanks, Jessie.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take what they call in the business a hard break. We're going to be a little bit longer, but don't go away, because when we come back, we'll talk about a very unique story. I mean, I really have no clue what this guy's going to talk about and how he's still alive. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, this is Keith Zalley from the WTOE Radio Network, and right now we're going to take a few extra minute break just so we can save our files for our podcast. So please don't go anywhere, because there's going to be more Steve and the KOVACS Perspective in just a few minutes.
Janine Marks, a 12-year-old, was fairly normal. She spent a lot of time online. One day, she met a new friend. The new friend had the same problems at home. They liked the same bands. They worried about the same subjects in school. They promised to keep each other's secrets. They wished they went to the same junior high. The new friend had good news. He said he was going to be in Janine's area one Saturday. He thought it would be amazing if they could just hang out, go to the mall. Janine agreed. The new friend didn't want parents messing this up. Janine showed up alone. So did her new friend, who wasn't in junior high, wasn't nice, and wasn't a 14-year-old boy. Last year, 1 in 5 children was sexually solicited online. Help delete online predators. Call 1-800-THE-LOST or visit cybertipline.com to learn how to protect your kids' online life. A message from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and the Ad Council.
If there was an emergency, would your family have enough water and non-perishable food to last 3 days? We asked families across the country. Here are some of their answers.
Well, we depend mostly on our meats, on our refrigerator, on, cooking that way, so most of our foods are in the refrigerator. Once the electricity goes out, your refrigerator goes out, so you can only use that for a certain amount of time.
We usually eat fresh food daily.
In the pantry we have like granola bars and canned tomatoes,
True. That's true, but that's really not survival food, tomato paste.
The brand of dog food that I do purchase for the dogs, as well as the cats, are edible by humans. We could even share the same bowls.
How about my own bowl?
You got your own bowl.
Is your plan any better? To learn more about making an emergency plan for your family, go to ready.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the Ad Council.
Hey, Jack, you got a sec?
Yeah, sure, come on in.
Yeah, I was wondering if you... Jack, your hair's on fire.
Yeah, I know. I just need to finish this sales report, and then I'll probably, I don't know, let me lie down for a bit. But I'm sure it'll go away.
But the flames are getting bigger. Shouldn't I... Your hair, there's so much fire.
No, I'll be fine. What can I help you with? Oh, dear. Well, at least we know the sprinkler system works.
You wouldn't ignore this, so why ignore the signs of a stroke? If you or someone you know suddenly experiences numbness of the face, arm, or leg, or sudden trouble speaking, seeing, or walking, don't wait to get help. Call 911 right away, because time lost is brain lost. To find out more, visit www.strokeassociation.org or call 1-888-4STROKE. This message brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hello.
Is Joey home?
Joey, the door.
Joseph.
Yeah.
Hello, son. I'm Dean Rubin from college. I'm here to invite you to join us this fall.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a day.
Well, we've reviewed your application.
Give me an E.
No, wait. Right, you didn't actually fill out an application.
I didn't think I had to.
You know what? That's fine. Because your algebra grade certainly... No? Wait, you didn't actually take...
Well, no one told me I was supposed to...
whatever. You really want to go to college, and we really want to have you.
Joey, out of bed.
Hey, wake up. You can't dream your way into college. There are actual steps you need to take. For all the steps, visit knowhowtogo.org. Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
And now back to the KOVACS Perspective.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Steve KOVACS here. We're going to be talking to an interesting individual. He's a registered nurse. Listen to this. Registered nurse. I believe he's retired now. He's got 2 master's degrees. He's got a doctorate in public health. And he has 60 years experience as a nurse practitioner, an educator, author, and researcher who's received national recognition. But here's the big thing. About 40 years ago, actually I think 38 years ago, he was diagnosed with lung cancer, and they said, hey, Carl, you got 6 months to live, my friend. And again, that was 38 years ago. He used some unique treatments. He opted out against surgery and chemotherapy. We got to find out about this. I have to find out about this. Let me introduce Carl O. Helvie. How you doing, Carl?
Thank you. I'm happy to be with you, Steve.
Carl, you got a hell of a story to say. Excuse my language, but I mean, I'm amazed because while I thought about this, Carl, I have had a friend. He's been deceased now about a year and a half, 2 years. He was 82 years old, Carl, when he was diagnosed with lung cancer. He was a vibrant man. He was just a good guy, and they recommended that he have his lung taken out. When I heard that, I was kind of shocked at his age to do that, but they took his lung out. He died about maybe 2 months later.
Right.
So, and I know somebody else that died of lung cancer about 6 months after they were diagnosed. It's a terrible thing to be diagnosed. Carl, please tell me, tell the tale of what happened to you 38 years ago, how you were diagnosed, and what went on from there.
Well, I had a dream that told me to go for a chest X-ray, and I pay attention to dreams because I feel it's one way that God speaks with us, sometimes through intuition, sometimes through dreams, sometimes through other people. So I went to my doctor, who was a very conservative physician, and told him I wanted an X-ray. And he said, why? Are you having symptoms? And I said, no. And he said, well, why do you want one? Well, I wasn't about to tell him it was because I had a dream. So I said, well, I just want one. Well, I finally convinced him, and so they did the X-ray, and it came back with a spot that had not been there previously. So he asked me to go in so they could do biopsies, and so I went in the hospital, and the next thing, here comes the surgeon telling me that they're doing surgery and following up with chemo. And I said, wait a minute, I came here for a biopsy. I don't make snap decisions. I go home, I pray about it, I make a rational decision. Well, you'll be dead in 6 months. I said, well, that's my responsibility. Your responsibility is to tell me the pros and cons of surgery and chemotherapy, and my responsibility is to make the decision. So they kept saying, you'll be dead in 6 months, and I said, that's fine, but I will make the decision. Well, I decided I didn't want to be debilitated for 6 months. I was feeling fine at this point, and I talked with a good friend, and she asked if I wanted a psychic reading, and I said yes. So the reader told me that he knew nothing about it, but he picked up the lung cancer and said I should not have surgery, that I should treat it naturally. My friend and I watched our dreams, and we got the same message. So she knew a physician in Northern Virginia, and I went to him, and he did tests, and he confirmed that it was lung cancer. He had worked for the National Cancer Institute, and the drug companies and the medical profession had closed him down because he was having so much success using Laetrile. So I had to sign forms that I wouldn't report him, and he told me that I should take Laetrile, and he told me how much and where to get it, and that I should take pancreatic enzymes and digestive enzymes, supplements and vitamins and minerals, a whole mess of stuff I was taking, that I should go on a diet that basically was a vegan diet, 75% raw fruit and vegetables and a little bit of additional cooked fruit and vegetables, grains and nuts, but no dairy, no protein, which meant no dairy, no meat, no chicken, nothing like that. I did take a pre-digested protein so that I didn't have a deficiency. And I added to that, because I believe in a holistic approach, so I added prayer, meditation, affirmations, visualization, trying to be of service to others. I practiced being more patient and more loving and more forgiving. And I did this, and I went back to my doctor regularly for x-rays, but I didn't tell him I was doing anything. So he thought we were in a wait-and-see mode. And so after 2 years, the spot was gone. And he said, well, I guess I made the wrong diagnosis, thinking that I hadn't done anything. And so my friend in North Carolina, who was the medical director for Blue Cross Blue Shield, wanted to see all the lab and the x-rays and all the tests. And so I took them all to North Carolina. And he reviewed everything, and he said, yes, it definitely was lung cancer. And that was 38 years ago.
You know, that's a heck of a tale. Let me start in the beginning here, Carl. I have and our previous guest was a writer for a site that I write at, and I know that there's one writer there that's a respected writer, and he's really against psychics. And I don't have a dog in the hunt, as they say. You know, I keep my eyes open on anything, and I'll keep my mind open to anything, I guess is a better way of putting it. But you took a heck of a risk, my friend, on what a psychic said, right?
Well, it was also based on our dreams. And see, again, I think God speaks with us through our dreams. And I have always gone right if I follow what my dreams tell me. And, you know, I believe in using every resource that is available. Recently, I have discovered a medical intuitive that can diagnose over the phone, and I used him when I was having a minor problem, and he diagnosed it and told me what to do. I even read an article that we all have angels and that they are there to help us, and that if we call on them, it helps them. And I have done this over and over again, and they have always helped me. They helped me through a hurricane when the water was up to my house, and they kept the water from coming in, and my neighbors on both sides didn't call on their angels, and their houses flooded. So I believe in using every resource that is available to keep us healthy. And I'm 80 years old. I have no chronic illnesses, no prescribed medications. And so something is working in my life. Would you not say, Steve?
Well, that's the thing, Carl. Obviously, there's a success story, so you can't just brush Carl off the map because you're a heck of success story, and you're not a person with a third-grade education. You got 2 masters and a doctorate. Doctorate, what are your masters in?
I have a master's in public health nursing from the University of California, and I have a master's of public health and a doctorate of public health in mental health from Johns Hopkins University.
Well, there we go, Carl. I mean, you're a success story. You're overly educated. I don't mean that. I'm kind of joking, you know, but you're educated. But you feel that dreams can tell us some things, and you believe that. Now, is this psychic still around, by the way?
Yes, he is, but I understand that he is not as good as he used to be.
He's not as good as he used to be.
He's not as accurate as he used to be.
Okay. Now, you wrote a book, Carl, right? What's the title of your book?
Well, my last book, because I've written 8 books, and I've written chapters in 4 additional ones, including in Germany. And my last book is You Can Beat Lung Cancer Using Alternative Integrative Interventions. Okay. And I have chapters, not only my story and what I have done since I overcome cancer to stay cancer-free, but also I have chapters by Bernie Siegel, Dr. James Forsyth, Dr. Francisco Contreras, on the treatment that they offer to cancer patients, which are alternative. And I might add that they are having, like Dr. Forsyth, for example, he's having a 46% success rate, 5-year survival, stage 4 cancer patients, compared to traditional, which is 2 to 5% for stage 4. So, and he's been harassed by the FDA and by the medical profession, as happens with any physician that has success with alternative treatments. So, and then I have a chapter by Tanya Harder-Pierce on Protocell, and a chapter by Dr. Kim Dotzel on nutrition, because nutrition is such an important aspect of any type of cancer.
Did you say Dr. Siegel writes a chapter? He writes a little. What does he write in the book?
He writes mind-body medicine.
I mean, these are mainstream doctors that you've mentioned, right, Doc?
Right,
Carl?
because
These are mainstream.
Dr. Contreras, they have treated over 100,000 cancer patients at the Oasis of Hope, and he is highly respected in the medical community. Sure. Dr. Forsyth, again, he is one of the 3 practicing physicians that was interviewed by Suzanne Summers in her book Knockout, and he also has been considered by some of the top people in alternative health as a Renaissance man for his work. He is a meticulous researcher, and he researches all of his treatments and keeps, records about how successful he is. So, yes, they're all very respected medical physicians.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Carl O. Helvie. He's the author of a book called You Can Beat Lung Cancer Using Alternative Integrative Interventions. You can go to his site, beatlungcancer.net, beatlungcancer.net. Now, doctor, you know what concerns me here, and I don't know what your answer is going to be to this, but if somebody's diagnosed with cancer today, lung cancer, and they are every day, and it's a shame. Are you saying in a roundabout way, don't listen to traditional medicine, or what are you saying?
No, I'm saying that often the alternative treatment is far more successful than traditional, but there are people who want traditional, and I support them. I support people in whatever treatment they want. I only want people to know that there are alternatives, because often when a patient goes to the doctor, he will say, well, you've got to do chemo, you've got to do surgery, that's the only alternative. But there are other alternatives. So what I'm saying is I want people to be prepared if they ever are faced with the diagnosis of any type of cancer, so that they can pick what is best for them. Now, my brother, who is 91, was just diagnosed with lung cancer. Isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. And his doctor wanted him to do radiation, so he has gone and done radiation. But I asked him if he would do Laetrile as well as the radiation, and so he's doing both because he respects what I have to say. So if people want the traditional, I try to refer them to resources that will tell them how they can counteract some of the harsh side effects of like the chemotherapy, the severe nausea, vomiting, and the sores in your mouth and all of that. But I leave it up to the person. I hear from maybe 50, 60 people a month that have cancer that most of them are looking for resources for alternative. But if they want traditional, it's their choice. I don't feel I can make the choice for anyone else. I can only offer them information of alternatives. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. No, you worded it well. Hey, 2 questions. First of all, were you a smoker?
Yes.
You were.
Right. And, about 89% of all lung cancer is a result of direct smoking, another 3% from secondary smoke, and then there's some from radon, some from asbestos, and some they don't know what causes it. So, yes, I did smoke, and my brother smoked.
Well, that was going to be a question I was going to ask you later. But the big question is, I've heard this drug, this medication, talked about before, Laetrile. What is Laetrile?
Laetrile, another name for it is vitamin B17, and it is made from the greatest source is the apricot kernel. If you take the apricot, there's that hard thing inside, and if you broke that, inside is a kernel, and that is the highest source of Laetrile. Dr. Krebs, who developed the Krebs cycle in physiology, developed a theory that people have a shortage of this, of the vitamin B17, that it used to be more plentiful, but that because the soil has become depleted, it's not as plentiful in people's diet anymore. And you'll hear, if you read the traditional literature, they will say, well, it has cyanide in it, and it will kill you. And I said, well, it's a good thing I didn't know that, because I took the Laetrile for 2 years. I ate 25 apricot kernels every day, and I guess if I had ignorance is bliss, and if I had known it was going to kill me, I probably would have died, but I didn't. So that what they don't say is that cancer cells have an enzyme that activates the the cyanide in the Laetrile, but normal cells do not have that enzyme, so that they do not activate they don't have the enzyme and don't activate the cyanide, so that it is very specific for cancer cells and will kill the cancer cells but have no effect on the normal cells. And a lot of the alternative treatments are that way. For example, another one is a lot of the alternative doctors use high doses of vitamin C, and they get vitamin C, and they give it IV. And when it comes in contact with the fluids around the cancer cells, it is converted to hydrogen peroxide, which kills the cancer cells. But again, it is very specific for cancer cells, but has no effect on normal cells.
Interesting. So you took Laetrile many, many years ago. It's still a drug that people are using as an alternative drug?
Interviewed a physician in Reno a couple weeks ago for my radio show, and he still uses Laetrile. Dr. Contreras uses Laetrile. A lot of them still use it because it's still one of the effective treatments. They tend to do a more holistic approach now, Steve, with the alternative cancer treatments. So they'll use Laetrile, but they'll use other things in addition to that.
They'll
and
use
some people have said
other
the same
things in addition to that. Interesting. You had mentioned, Carl, that diet had something to do with it. Now, you're cancer-free for 4 decades almost. Do you eat differently now? I mean, do you have a crazy kind of diet, or do you eat like average Americans generally do?
No, I would never eat like average Americans. And one thing, Steve, that is against people now that was not a problem 38 years ago, and that is the genetically modified foods, the growth hormones, the pesticides, all of these things that are dumped into our food supply. They were not there 38 years ago, so I didn't have to worry about that. But people now, I tell them, if you can afford it, eat organic, because at least you're avoiding the genetically modified foods and the growth hormones. Or if you can't afford that, eat as much locally grown as you can, and especially if you know where the local farmers are from and what their farming practices are. Because our food supply is terrible, and the government does not protect us like the genetically modified foods. Some of the people from Monsanto are part of the FDA. And so why can we not have our food supply labeled as to whether it's genetically modified or not? You know, people have tried and tried and tried to get this to happen, but it doesn't happen. So I eat organic. I don't eat beef. I haven't eaten beef in 25 years. I still eat primarily fruit and vegetables. I eat more cooked of these than I did before. I eat a lot of nuts. I don't eat much grains. I eat cereal in the morning, but that's about it for grains. I don't eat bread or pasta or any of the... I eat no sugar. I don't eat farm-grown fish because of toxins. I eat some fish, but not a lot because of the mercury, the high mercury content. So our food supply is very polluted.
Now, I'm going to throw a little humor here. I just got an email here, and someone said they're enjoying your conversation, your talk. They're enjoying our conversation. But he said, if I got to eat like that, okay, I'm ready to get cancer. He was tongue-in-cheek. But you know what you say makes a lot of sense. Fruits, nuts, and Carl, I know somebody personally that has a form of cancer that's incurable. She was given a year to live 8 years ago, Carl, and she's still alive and doing well. And guess what she eats? Organic. Very interesting. Now, Carl, you are in Florida right now. Are you there on a vacation? Because we just caught Carl. He just checked into his hotel room. Just flew into Florida. Are you there on business or pleasure?
There's a cancer conference here, alternative cancer conference, and I'm giving a paper Saturday morning, and I'm also being filmed for a documentary on incurable diseases, and that will take place Saturday afternoon. And so I came primarily for business.
Primarily for business. Okay. So you're doing fine with how you eat. You unquestionably say we should eat organic. And why don't you eat red meat? Is it like a cholesterol thing, or is it something that you think that can cause cancer?
Well, there are problems from not eating beef, and one is that, you know, your iron levels can go low. But I just do not like the taste of beef anymore. I didn't eat it for many years, and then they started having organic beef, and I did pick up some. They talked me into it one day when they had some at Trader Joe's. I said, oh, well, okay, I tried it. I didn't like it. So I prefer just staying pretty much with chicken and a little bit of fish or seafood.
I got you.
There are people that love it, And if they want it, I think they should try to eat the organic again because of growth hormones.
I got you. And I've heard other people that are cancer survivors talk very similar to what you're talking about, the way to eat. But I think generally what you're talking about is healthy for all of us, the way that you eat. Here's the big question, though, Carl.
Can you imagine that this doctor talked about this 38 years ago? And to me, it is so sad that within 5 years after I was over the cancer, the FDA and the medical profession put him out of business. And they also closed the pharmacy where I got the Laetrile. Mm-hmm. And all he was doing was trying to save people's lives. I think that is terrible.
Well, let me go further with that, because that's where I was going to go. And today is a day with a lot of interference. I'm having a little difficulty hearing some of what you're saying. But you just took me to where I wanted to go. And we have only a few minutes, and I've got to touch on this, Carl. If this kind of integrative interventions are so successful, alternative treatment, why in God's name, and let's not use God's name, why in the world isn't, and I'm close to the Cleveland Clinic. Many say it's the best hospital in the world. I have issues with that, but why aren't mainstream doctors more so using it? Apparently some are, if they're talking about, they write in your book, but why isn't it like everywhere?
Well, cancer is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The Cancer Association stays in business because of cancer. Hospitals get wings donated. The drug companies make money. The doctors buy chemotherapy at wholesale prices, and they give it to patients at retail prices, and they get paid for doing it. And you can go on and on with all the people that are making money and off cancer. And I will say that there are certain people that are trying to make money off alternative treatments, people who have no background in health that are out there counseling because they overcame cancer. I know people that had cancer a year ago, and they're out there trying to make money. So it's not just traditional. It's anytime there's money to be made, people don't want changes. And so I think that's why this goes on. And then there's something called the anti-quack law. And so anytime someone is successful, like I mentioned, Dr. Forsythe, who wrote the chapter in my book, they went after him, and he's having fantastic success. And he said they tried to get his license, but he wasn't doing anything wrong, and so they tried to bankrupt him. And so he had to spend all of this money to defend himself in court. So it doesn't change because too many people are making money from it.
Interesting. And it also does not hurt for someone to read your thesis, let's call it that, your idea, your recipe for your survival. And that is in You Can Beat Lung Cancer using alternative integrative interventions. You can go to beatlungcancer.net. And you know what I'm saying, Carl? What I'm saying to the listeners is that you may have a difficult time believing, understanding maybe what you're saying. But on the other hand, it's quite intriguing. You're a success story. This is what you do for a living now. This is your passion in life. It can't hurt for an open mind to take a look at what you have. And, of course, for those of us, those of you that are suffering with a cancer, it might be an option for you. Again, hey, can you get your book on Amazon.com, Carl?
Yes. Right.
Okay. Again, you can beat lung cancer using alternative integrative interventions. It is by Carl O. Helvie. You may want to take a look at it and see what you further think about it. Carl, I'm going to let you go into the sun and fun of Florida while I'm up in rain and snow in Ohio. I'm angry at you, Carl. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you, sir, for being my guest. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it very much, too.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, interesting medical show today. If you have any questions or you want to get a hold of possibly the guests that we had, or you need some more information on how to get their book, look at the podcast. It'll be up on KOVACS PERSPECTIVE.10, or it's all over the internet. You'll see ways to locate the authors. If not, you could always get a hold of me at info@KOVACS PERSPECTIVE.com. We love having you here. Email me anytime. You know what you want to see, what you think. We're a team. I love it. See you next week. Be there or be square. Thank you for being.
The KOVACS Perspective is brought to you by the WTOE Radio Network at throughoureyes.org. All WTOE shows are available as a podcast. Visit our podcast page to learn more. The KOVACS Perspective was written by Steve Kovacs, directed by Tom Bendewalt Jr., technical director and audio engineer Len Azzarone, assistant audio engineer Lori Viscuso. For more information about the KOVACS Perspective, visit www.allsourcesecurity.com. All words, ideas, and comments expressed on the KOVACS Perspective are those of Steve Kovacs and not necessarily those of the National Federation of the Blind, the NFB Northeast New Jersey Chapter, or the WTOE Radio Network. Until next time, I'm Keith Zally.
Got it again.
All WTOE shows are available as a podcast. Visit our podcast page to learn more. The KOVACS Perspective was written by Steve Kovacs, directed by Tom Bendewalt Jr., technical director and engineer Len.